place at the right time. That's all I can tell you. And Ulosophy would take care and handle the spiritual side. We go ahead and handle the mindset side. The concept, we drill into you the concepts that the high and elite did not want you to know, and they are born with it. That is why bloodlines have happened throughout history. And then comes the financial side, which is Hex.com, Pulse-Chain, Pulse-X, Richard Hart projects. These things are going to change the world. You know, I was told long ago that whatever has more controversy, usually that's the thing that they don't want you to do. Hex.com. And then we have the gathering side. We ask you to get together as a group. We ask you to be as a community. We ask you about membership. You do not have to be alone. All right, my people. Happy Wednesday. Another podcast number 6. I hope you guys enjoyed the one on Monday. It was very informative. I mean, we talked about from George Patton, you know, his famous quote, which is my personal favorite quote from General Patton, probably my top 5 favorite quotes of all time. You know, it's amazing how something just as a quote, a couple of words can change your life, can change the way that you feel, can change the way that you're thinking, can put your life into perspective and give you a whole different, direction. And that's what quotes do. That's why they're so powerful, and that's why people use them. That's why people look for them. That's why, many managements, many motivational type of organizations use them all the time. You watch the motivation videos, there's going to be a quote there somewhere, because it's the simplistic things that matter in life. And that's a perfect example, the quotes. You don't buy a car without a steering wheel. Imagine, you could have the entire car completed. You have the tires, you have the engine, you have the hood, you have the paint. Matter of fact, you have the best paint there is. You have a million horsepower in that car, everything you ever wanted in that car, whatever it is. But you're missing the steering wheel. I don't care how many millions you put into that car. If you don't have a steering wheel, that car is not going to run. Right? You need a steering wheel. You don't buy houses without windows. You don't buy houses with doors but without knobs. You don't buy cars without tires. You know what I mean? It's the simple things that matter in life. And that's where we get, throughout history again, all the writers, all the philosophers, all the people who have come to a level of success and say the same thing to us every single time. At the end of the day, money doesn't matter. It's the little things that count. Those, unfortunately, that are incarcerated, they tell you the same thing. F money, F clubbing, F, going with different women and so forth. It's the little things. I wish I could just, spend time with my kids, spend time with my parents, spend time with my family, have a cookout outside. It's the little things that matter, guys. And it's almost like the secret, because it's so simplistic that people don't even pay attention to it, or wouldn't dare pay attention to it, as why should they? It's so simple, right? If you're driving on the road and you're seeing one shade of color on the ramp, but you see a little patch of another color, because either they redid the part of the road, that thing is going to be irrelevant. You're not going to be like, oh my God, why is that there? Bad example, but I think you get my point. But guys, I want to thank you for watching this podcast today. We have things to talk about. We're going to talk about great things, important things, things that basically will change your life, things that can go ahead and literally change your life. And what is changing your life? Communication. Communication is the key to so many things in life, from relationships to friendships to family, socializing, any sort of socialization. Communication is key. You can communicate it with vocabulary support. We talked that in the last podcast. You can communicate with someone if you're not actually communicating with them by either them hearing you or you hearing them. Communication can be very valuable if it goes one way. For example, just like I'm doing now, you're hearing this podcast. I'm unable to hear you, but you can hear me. Throughout history, it's been like that. You would be 1,000 miles across the ocean, and you would send, 500 words in a letter, and wait for sometimes months to get a response back. So that's why I love podcasts. I love the idea of sharing ideas with people through podcasts, things like that. And Ulosophy, that's basically, we have so much information that we have gathered. And I'll speak for me personally. I've gathered. Everybody who is a Ulosophy member has their own huge mark on what they offer to the club. Because Ulosophy is a club. We're a membership club. We're like a fraternity. We're like the Freemasons. We're like the YPO. We're like the Chambers of Commerce. We're like the Harvard Alumni Club. Of course, I'm not talking about in IQ levels or things, huge extreme things that we have done, but we are, a club. We are a club of individuals that think alike and have goals to strive to do great things in this world. And many times, these type of things, it's unnatural for it to be shared to the masses all at once. Throughout history, up to this point, people throughout history has been illiterate more than they've been literate. So throughout history, if you're talking about the entire history of humankind, it's been such a small amount of time that we have actually been literate and able to write, compared to the amount of years that we were illiterate and we were not able to write. That cut our communication off. That's why, in my opinion, I believe that we will reach levels unprecedented if we all come to one global language. If every country comes together and says, look, we can keep our language, sure, in Germany we're going to speak German, Russian we're going to speak Russian, in America our main language is going to be English, in Mexico our main language is going to be Spanish, and so forth and so forth and so forth. But we're going to, by mandatory statutes, we're going to make English, or whatever language, pick whatever language. But since English is, I think, is the second or third most spoken language in the world, because Spanish is the first one, so we can make Spanish the first speaking, the global language of the world. But have a language that is mandatory to be studied and learned in all schools in the world. So the global the globe can communicate, as they should. And I think, I'm telling you, in my opinion, in my personal opinion, I think things like wars wouldn't be, have gone on. I don't even think World War II would have happened. Because any sort of conflict, if you read all the books that have ever been written on self-improvement and character and philosophy, the number one reason for conflict has always been unable to express yourself, unable to communicate. You can't communicate. That's why they always say, hey man, talk it out. Talking it out will work things out. Of course they will, because communication enters the area. So now you're telling the person how you feel, the person is telling you how they feel, and then now it's a more understandable situation as to, I didn't know you felt like that. I would have felt the same way. I didn't know that you saw me doing that. I didn't even know I did that. I didn't even know that I do that. Communication is key. So if the global nations would have all gotten together, at least on that one part, keep everything else. I don't care. If it was one wish I would have for the global world, I wouldn't end poverty, I wouldn't end hunger, I wouldn't end disease, I wouldn't end nothing. I would just do one wish. And that is, I would go ahead and make mandatory a global language. Pick a language and make it globalized. You can still speak your language in your country or wherever you want, but make mandatory one language where the entire world can communicate with each other, whether it's English, whether it's Spanish, whether it's Russian, whether it's German. I don't care the language. Just make it mandatory that everybody has to speak it. That alone, in my opinion, would end hunger, would end poverty, would end, corruption. Well, maybe not end, but dramatically reduce all these things. And probably ultimately end a lot of these negative things that are going on in the world. The number one reason for conflict has always been miscommunication. What's the one thing that is talked about in therapists' offices when a person is getting a therapy session, a couples therapy session? Communication was the number one reason for divorce. Communication was the number one reason for an argument. Communication was the number one reason for a person getting fired or not doing their job effectively. Communication. You know how they say location. Communication. You have to go ahead and learn to communicate. But obviously that ain't gonna happen anytime soon. So what is it that you have to do? You have to go ahead and get your vocabulary up. If you get your vocabulary up, then at that point your communication effectiveness will be at such a level that you will never feel misunderstood, because you know how to communicate yourself. You know the words that you're using. You know the root word of the words that you're using. So the meaning of the words that you're using are very specific when you learn your vocabulary, when you increase your vocabulary and do the process that we talked about that has been done for thousands of years throughout history, and where it has its ties to prayer, where it has its ties to, quote, magic, which is just another religion, but they, instead of prayers, they call it spells. Kings, queens, royalty throughout history have always had their own book of prayers. Like, I saw a TikTok video the other day about this guy that collects books, and he's like, I have Marie Antoinette's prayer book, and it was big as 2 bricks. But see, back throughout history, they used to go ahead and have these, quote, prayers, the royal families, because they understood the power of communication and the power that it actually has energetically, which, you know, we could go into, but that would be another conversation. It's energetically the vibration that comes out when you know your vocabulary, when you know the root word of the word that you're trying to use, when you know the real meaning to its full. When you say it, it's like, imagine, you know those anime shows where they just go ahead and throw a punch and then you see like the wind blows a whole bunch of trees out? That's how it is with words. Once you light up words, once you increase your vocabulary, you understand the words, definition, the root word of that word. You know, you understand that word to the fullest. You know where it came from. You know that it was from Middle English, that the root word was in Latin, and that it traveled through Greek. And you know all these things about that word. The choosing of words will be so different than the usual person for you, that your confidence level, you will not doubt yourself anymore, because you're not confused anymore. You know who you are, because now you know a real definition. You don't know who you are because you don't know the definition of who you are. You don't know what's the name or what's the definition for why you act like that. You don't know what is a form of expression, you know, of understanding of why you like to go ahead and nibble something in the middle of the night and then go back to sleep. Like, you get to know yourself more than anything, and that brings a confidence of to you that it's unprecedented. Like, shyness goes away. Talking to people, socializing people increases dramatically. People like you. Not everybody's going to like you, but more people are going to like you than not. You'll develop friendships. Your friendships will last longer. People will call you. People will message you. People will want to be around you, the presence that you bring. Because not only are you able to express yourself, right, and you're giving them an opportunity to understand you way much better in case they don't know, but you might help them out as well. Because you may see certain things that they're trying to say, but because your vocabulary is so large and your practice of lighting up words is so big, you're able to pinpoint out certain things that they're doing that you might go ahead and guide them to or point them to and be like, do you know that, have you noticed you do this? Have you noticed you do this? Have you noticed you do this? Because you may know that they're doing this, this, and this, but you don't say it because you don't know how to effectively communicate. So if they're doing something, you're afraid to go ahead and say it because, one, you may feel, you know, I don't want to offend them. Oh, I may come out as, you know, being jealous. Oh, I may come out as being arrogant. Or I may come out as being cocky. Or I may come out like I'm insulting the person. No, that's because you just don't know how to fully express yourself. If you know how to fully express yourself and you do the practice that we tell you in Ulosophy, which is the practice of lighting up words, your expression will be so high that some people may take it as cocky, but it will be so irrelevant at that point because you're going to be like, quote, so powerful as far as in the meaning of life and understanding who you are and understanding others, that the respect and the actual truthfulness will outweigh any sort of cockiness that they may feel at the beginning. And really the only reason that they will ever feel that you're cocky or you're arrogant or he thinks he saw that because he knows all these words, it's just because they themselves don't know how to fully express themselves. Their vocabulary is small. Their vocabulary is not, they don't light up. They don't have the arsenal. Take it as an arsenal. The more words you light up, the bigger your arsenal. And the bigger your arsenal, the bigger you're going to hit your target. I've talked about it a million times. In prison, they have many programs where they allow inmates to go ahead and carve things with wood with their hand, carve with their hand, and make sculptures or paint or work with clay and work with their hands. You ever notice people talk sometimes and they move their hands? That's some sort of expression. That happens a lot when people are not able to fully express themselves. They don't know certain ways of expressing themselves, and they don't want to come out as wrong. So unconsciously, they use their hands. The more you light up your words and the more your vocabulary increases, you will stop using it. You will notice you won't use the hands thing no more. Well, at least not as much, you know. Or you ever notice how people touch their face, like they're talking and they're like, oh, or some girls touch their hair and they're like this and they're like this, and that's all some form of ineffective expression where you don't know how to go ahead and re-communicate what you're just being told or what you're being asked and so forth. Your communication is not on point. When when you have a big arsenal, you have a good vocabulary, you know the root words, you know the definition of words. You're still, you're present, you're able to focus. They say a word that you do not understand, your brain just fogs up. This is why many people have problems with the opposite sex whenever they're try to communicate. Some get so shy, it's like, man, I had all these lines that I practiced, or all these things I wanted to tell this girl, or all these things I wanted to tell this guy, and I just went totally blank. Like, why? The same way that you're reading a page off a book and you get to a word that you do not understand, you get to the end of the page and you forgot what you just read, even though you read 2 pages and you forgot what you just read. That's because you ran into a word that you did not understand, and your brain went into an emergency mode, survival mechanism. It shuts everything down and makes you focus on resolving that you just bumped into, that you did not understand, because to your brain, that's life and death. And that's the reason why people who are not able, they have a hard time expressing themselves due to having a low vocabulary, or not having a huge arsenal of these lighting up of words. They go ahead and shut down whenever they're about to speak to a woman, whenever they're about to speak to a man, or they get too shy and so forth. A little shyness is normal. I'm talking about a shyness that just stops you dead in your tracks. It freezes you. Or when you're talking to someone and they say a word that you do not understand, the same thing happens. From that point, you're going to be like, what did you say? Can you repeat that again? Because you ran into a word that you did not know the full definition of. But if you look up the definition of it, if you look up the first definition, second definition, third definition, how many definitions it has, and then you look up the root word of it and where it's come from, Middle English to Greek to Latin, and what's the meaning of that root word, you know that word like the back of your hand. So that word will have a whole different meaning. See, those are the type of secrets that, those in many fraternities share with each other. Communication, because it is so important.
Guys, for our sponsor for today, again, I've been following this young lady, beautiful young black lady, I'm telling you, helping people from all walks of life, trying to go ahead and get out the enslavement of punching the clock. She has discovered, and I'm pretty sure she's invested thousands of dollars trying to discover this information and giving it to you at pennies of cost, because of such a big heart that she has. So basically, Ashley J, I've been following her for about maybe a year, 2 years, somewhere around there. And she started with a couple projects where she found out how to go ahead and find locations where they sell big pallets, and those pallets contain electronics, clothes, you know certain things for the house, even automobile stuff, things that big stores like Best Buy, Walmart, Target, all these big chains just basically didn't want, either because were overstocked on it, or basically because maybe the little there was a little scratch on the box, or the box was looked a little bit like if it was pressed on, but the actual equipment works well. There's people who have bought these boxes, I mean these pallets, and they found iMac books. Like, you don't know exactly what you're gonna get, but you kind of can tell them exactly what you want or what you're looking for, and depending on that, they'll give you a price. I mean, you can get a pallet for $250, $200, and there's people that have found iMacs in there. There's people that have found PlayStation 5s. There's people that have found rims, 28-inch rims, worth at $2,500, and they sell them at a cheaper price. I mean, this is what she does. She discovered all this. She made a lot of money doing this, and now she's willing to share it with the world. So right now, for the month of October, she actually has basically a mentorship open. If you're interested, I'll give you the details here. The mentorship, which she has had before, is open back up for October if you want to join, and I will go ahead and give you the link here. You should just click on it, and then there's another link where you can just click on all the other courses that she sells if you're not interested in the mentorship program. But she has a mentorship program. It's a 5-week program. You will have modules and videos that are released weekly on Saturdays. Will release weekly, and on Saturday, November 19th, she will bring a current pallet product flipper and liquidation business owner on the platform to educate, answers, give advice, and tips. So which is probably her biggest course, the flipping pallet course, she will actually bring another professional, I guess her mentor, to go ahead and give you even bigger great tips. There will be around 2 to 4 videos released each Monday around 9 a.m. Pacific time, but these videos are for you to watch on your own time. Some of these videos will include classes for people who currently flip pallets, own liquidation warehouses, etc. So she does that. She teaches you how to do that as well. So she has a schedule on here. It says Monday, October 17, understanding the liquidation industry. Monday, October 24, how to find profitable products. Again, what are you looking for? Monday, October 31st, how to sell products on various platforms. Monday, November 7th, how to sell products, continued taxes, seller's license, all those, how to get all those goodies for the government so you don't mess that up. It's the last thing you want. Monday, November 14th, starting your own liquidation warehouse. Saturday, November 19th, 11 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, live Zoom call to answer all questions you may have according to the entire, including to the entire mentorship part. So, I mean, come on. Let's see here. Let's see. I'll give you a little bit more information. So it's $100. It's $100 for you to go ahead and get all this information that will possibly make you thousands. I mean, look at her reviews. That's all you have to do. Look at her reviews. She has hundreds of reviews on her Instagram. She gets probably daily comments, daily messages saying, thank you so much. You got me out of my 9 to 5 that I hated. Thank you so much. My son's birthday was just last week, and I was able to buy him a PS5. Not only either I found it on the pallet, or I was able to afford it, because you're able to go ahead and get great. She took time. She has done the time and spend the money and her time to go ahead and find the best places for you to get the best quality pallets, and she's giving them to you nearly for free just by buying her course. What else can you want, right? But yeah, she has that. But to go over her actual, let me see here. I'm trying to go ahead and give you her other stuff to give you an idea of basically what she does. Mm-hmm. I'm trying to find it here. It's a little bit difficult. There's so many. There we go. Hold on. Uh-huh. Okay. So yeah, I mean, she has a whole bunch of programs, guys. Like literally, you can go ahead and you know get a whole bunch of things that you will go ahead and end up, you know, taking good advantage on if you're smart. If you're smart, you're gonna go ahead and take advantage of all these things here. Um, but she has a whole bunch of programs. She has a digital product mentorship program, which, for example, it's a 4-week mentorship program. It's $100. She'll help you develop an entrepreneur mindset, finding your niche. What is your niche? What is the niche that you want to go ahead and start your business on? Creating the product and creating the apps, the social networking, everything, brand building, Instagram, TikTok, creating content, and then week 4, Instagram shout outs, finding Instagram pages, email marketing, and sales. She has another let's see here, the Flipping Palace product mentorship, which we just went to right now. um yeah, this mainly all, let's see. Yeah, she has another one. It's a 7-figure masterclass, grow your own digital empire, but I think this one just passed. Well, she has one that says Digital Empire. So it says, for $25, are you looking to grow your digital empire? You landed on the right page. The number of people making money online has increased significantly since the pandemic first started. Over 4 million people quit their job in 2021 alone. Making money online is a dream come true, especially when no inventory is involved. When no inventory is involved. This allows you to make money while you are asleep, on vacation, or spending time with your loved ones. Could you imagine not having a boss, no coworkers, and not sitting in traffic all day? It's time to become your own boss. Make your own schedule and ditch your alarm clock. I have been making money online since 2018 and experienced failure and success. I have made almost $2 million selling digital products alone. I found more success in selling digital products than any other business venture I have ever done. Let's be honest, anyone can make a course, but how can you bring in sales? How can you grow your social media presence? How can you change your life with course sales? In this course, I will be teaching you how to make a course and grow your social media empire. Here are some topics I will cover. 1, how to make reels that turn into sales. 2, how to write captions that get your audience engaged. 3, how to make a course and identify what platform works for you. How to make content for your social media, how to get sales through emails, how results help sell your course, marketing, how to showcase your personality, building a brand, not just selling a course, finding your niche, improving value, course topics, importance of staying authentic, how to build a community, how to price your course, customer service, reputation, running sales, how to storytell. If you are ready to build your digital empire, this course is for you. So from 64,063 customers have bought this, from what I'm seeing here. She has 1.5 million. No, I mean, yeah, 1.5 million. This is real stuff, guys. And I don't just promote stuff. I don't think I've ever promoted stuff. But come on, guys. She has another one where you can start your own liquidation process. And in this course, you will learn everything you need to know to begin, manage, and scale your liquidation business. You will learn where to buy truckloads, how to order truckloads specific to your desired inventory, exact apps I use for hiring bookkeeping. You will learn insider guidance on locating brokers, as well as informative Facebook groups to join. This course will take you on a tour of my thermal warehouse. So if you want a warehouse or you have space where you can go ahead and put a whole bunch of stuff in and you want to start a liquidation process, then that's the perfect thing for you. Of course, she has the list of pallet locations and sites. That's $20. This will give you all the locations and the sites that you will contact to go ahead and get your pallets. How to be a successful affiliated. She even has that. That's $50. So that's very good. That's a very good one. You're just selling. And really nowadays you don't have to really talk much. All you really have to do is go ahead and be engaged in the internet, in social media. She has another one for $50, 10 sources masterclass replay. So basically, she teaches you 10 different ways you can increase your income. The real deal for $25. She has a whole bunch of other things she can offer. Rent it out, basically how to start a business where you can rent out things like bikes, snowboards, bungee jumping, party, little water park things, houses, pools, whatever. That's $25. The money pack, that's another course she has. And the flipping pallet course, which is probably one of the best ones. She has the hit list and plus the flipping pallet course for $40. So that's the list and the flipping pallet course for $40. I mean, what else you want, man? What else do you want? She has one where you can create your own beauty line, and that's $50. If you want to buy the list alone, it's $25 for the hit list for what to buy the best pallets. Come on, guys. So click on the link. If not, then you will go ahead and go to Gumroad. That's GUMROAD.com/ the letter A/471 364 435/JYXAON. And I think that's the one. Let me double check. But yeah, guys, I mean, there's really not much to it but to do it. Not much to it but to do it. And that's really all you have to do. You have to go ahead and take the actual step into your family's future. So guys, another thing that I want to talk about today on this podcast is I want to talk a little bit more about energy. There's certain things that still to this day science cannot explain to us. They can't even begin to explain to us why certain things happen. I have a video on my TikTok. It's like the first video I ever did. And it was a basic scientific question, or at least a question to anybody that's willing to answer it from the scientific community. And I still haven't gotten no clear answer. There was one answer that I got, which basically the question was, if I have a 5-pound wood log, right? Since energy cannot be created nor destroyed, if I have a 5-pound wood log and I set it on fire, in several minutes, I light it up on fire, it turns into ashes. Grams of ashes, weighing grams. Where did those physical 5 pounds go? There were literally 5 physical pounds right there in front of me. I set it on fire and now there's just grams. Where there were physically 5 pounds there, where did they go? Smartest answer I got was, basically an individual spoke about the actual molecules turning into CO2 and God knows what. Still, there was physically 5 pounds there. 5 pounds. And now there's only ashes. The real truth is that it got transformed into energy. Right? Fire has this ability to go ahead and do some sort of alchemy and transfer that frequency of mixture of atoms, which made up the 5-pound wood log, into back into pure basic energy. Basic atoms, protons, neutrons surrounded by an electron. Right? Which can be physically seen or like touched. It's like a plant. I put a seed on some soil, and if I water it and give it enough sun, there's a continuous amount of cells that will duplicate fastly, and then suddenly I have a plant, or suddenly I have a tree. Where are these things coming from? A baby, the same way, when it's being born, it's getting its nutrients and so forth, but the cells being duplicated and the amount of weight cannot physically compare. For example, the plant cannot compare to what? How much? You didn't put too much water in there. The soil you didn't lose that much soil. But now you have a plant that could weigh 5 to 10 pounds. Where is this things coming from? Well, the answer is energy. How is it that a salmon can go back to its spawning ground when it's ready to go ahead and die? Back to the same place it was born, it goes right before it leaves this realm. How is that? How is it that the ego, when it catches a fish, it lands where the fish is going to go as opposed to where the fish is going? Where we're planning to go as opposed to where the fish is. An eagle sees the fish for some odd reason that science still cannot fully explain. The eagle sort of knows exactly what move the salmon or the fish is going to take next for it to go ahead and grab it. How is that? How is it that a snake, just by sticking its tongue out, can go ahead and get the resonance or the feel for the environment around, and can tell if there's predators around or if there's danger, if it's a comfortable environment? If not, it sneaks away just by sticking its tongue out and reading sort of the energy through its tongue. How is it? How is it that throughout history, prayer has always been used? And it's not like there's a delay on prayer, right? Throughout history, think about this. Throughout history, people, and still to this day, I believe in prayer. People believe in prayer, and let's say you're praying for somebody, and like how long does it take for it to get there? How long does it take for the prayer to get to the person you're praying to get there? Let's say I'm praying for a loved one. How long is it gonna take? So yes, guys, it's one thing that we have to go ahead and talk about, because it's real and it's out there. And science tries to study it, but they still can't give us quite the answers that we're looking for. But we can't deny that those things like that exist. Think about it. What is everything made of? Science tells us everything, even moon rocks, have been shown to be made of the same thing, which is atoms. Atoms are a combination of neutrons and protons and neutrons, and they're surrounded by a smaller particle called an electron that goes around it. What makes the electron go round and round and round and round and round and round? Energy. Where is that energy coming from? So everything is energy. E equals mc squared. You know, and even at that, they're still calling it a theory. They say the theory of relativity. Um, and many of these things, could be theories. There could be something that, we may discover in the future that we just didn't know before. It's happened throughout history, and it most likely will happen later on, because there's answers that just by the animals, the things that the animals do, how is it that, the birds know, where to fly, and in groups and in packs, and they can feel it when the weather is changing, or when the weather is going to change, and go ahead and find a certain cover for certain weather situations so they can keep their young warm and dry and so forth. How is all this, how is it that all this occurs, from the salmon story that I told you? How do they know to go back to the place that they were born, to go ahead and leave this realm? Like, it's very creepy, spooky, but it's just that we don't understand it yet, right? We don't understand it yet. Like prayer, more and more as years go by, it's being proven that thoughts are things. Thoughts are physical things. They have a weight to it. They have a certain weight to it. In the 1900s, was it the 1900s, 1920, a long time ago, they did an experiment where they had weights on deathbeds of people who were about to pass away, and they would go ahead and weigh these people, and at the moment of passing, the weight will show that it lost weight. And of course, some didn't. Some lost 1 gram, some lost 2 grams. I think the average one was 8 grams or something. They even made a movie about it, which was actually horrible. But they made a movie out of it. I think it was 8 grams, 12 grams, something like that. And it was based on that research study that they did. And again, it was the 1900s. The accuracy of the actual scales were probably not the best accurate, or as accurate as the weights we would have now to weigh something like that. But it did show that some people lost weight at the time of passing. So, I want you to go ahead and consider. I'm not even asking you to believe, but consider that you're a spiritual being. You're not your body. You're a spiritual thing. And you, the person you are, you're being. You're being. You're not a thought. You're not a thing. You can be pointed out. You can be described. You're just a being. And you're an extension of the Most High, of the most beautiful High, God. And you're pure light and pure love. And nothing can ever stain it or mess it up in any way. Now, the mind is separate than the spirit. The mind is more of an energetic, if you want to call it, house or field. I want you to call it like that. Or think about it that way. It's a field. And in that field, you have things that, all the experiences that you've been through, all the emotions that you have felt, and so forth. And the brain is separate than the mind. The brain is a transmitter and a receiver of frequency, and it's the most powerful transmitter and receiver of frequency in the universe. And it can go ahead, and a thought can reach the entire universe at that same moment that you send it out. I want you to go ahead and consider that. This is what all these spiritual teachings tells us. throughout history. What I just said. That you're a spiritual being, that you have a thing called the mind. Many religions call it the soul. That's why they say don't, why gain the world but sell your soul? It's not your spirit. Your spirit can never be destroyed, can never be stained. It's pure love. It's the pure extension of God, of love. But the mind is separate. Your mind is your soul. And then you have the physical brain, which is a transmitter and a receiver of frequency, sort of a station that calls forward whatever you want for it to happen. And you have the power to go ahead and move the universe around in such ways. That is why all spiritual ancient texts has told us how powerful we actually are. And that you ask and you'll receive. Right? If you ask a mountain to move, it shall move. If you ask a hill to become plain, it will become plain. This is ancient history. This is what the spiritual. I'm not saying to believe it. I'm saying consider it, because this is what our spiritual texts throughout history have explained to us. And this is common on all or most ancient religious texts. They tell us the same thing. So I want you to consider that you are a spirit. You are an extension of pure love, of the most pureness, love, light, the pureness of the pure. Nothing, it doesn't get better than you, because you're a pure extension of God. And then you have the soul, which is your past, is where you hold your past experiences, your everything you've lived through, all your emotions and so forth. And depending on how you've been through, what you've been through and so forth, there can be certain frequencies attached to that may be negatively impacting you, because they're constantly vibrating 24/7, and they're constantly attracting more negative things. So the more negative things you have in that field, the more negative things you will attract, unless you override it with the positivity, right? With the positive thoughts. And that is why the positive information or positive thinking, or spirituality tells us the same thing. The renewing of our mind, and to think righteously and be righteous, changes things, because that will go ahead and attract good things. But in our case, in the Ulosophy system, we believe that that's already paid for. That's something that's already done. All we have to be is at rest. We are cleared of all of our negative energies or negative things, and we're pure righteous. We are to be and we have the right to be in the presence of God Almighty. In the Old Testament, before Christ, before the main sacrifice of the Lamb, God told Moses, take your sandals off. You're standing on holy ground. How dare you stand like that in front of me? That was before Christ came. But now that Christ came, we're pure love. We're pure righteous. We're the apple of God's eye. God sees us as Jesus is. The Bible says, as Jesus is in heaven, so are we in this world. And that there's nothing more powerful than what we have inside of us, which is the kingdom of heaven. Greater is he who's in you than he who is in the world. So there's nothing more powerful than you. But the thing that messes us up is the negative thoughts, negative postulates, negative experiences, and the beliefs that we have that are negative, that we believe, that are constantly bothering us and prevent us from reaching our full potential. Some people are scared to start a project. Some people seem to be good at starting a project, but they seem to never be able to finish a project. Some people may be good at starting a project, but they have the idea but never actually do anything. Some people may have do that for several reasons. One of the main reasons, which is shockingly in a lot of success books tells us, is that it's a fear of failure. It's a fear of failure that is stopping them. Many people have a lot of fears as well, and that may come from experiences, that may come from certain beliefs that have occurred specifically in your childhood through authority. Authority may have told you at one point a certain thing that really hurt you, or really took you on a bad run by having you believe that something. For example, let's say you were a kid and a teacher once told you that you're nothing, you're worthless. Maybe that stuck with you because it came from a point of authority at that point. That could negatively impact you, and sometimes things fall off, but many times we have to go ahead and work on it. And the best way to work on it is to go ahead and, just like there's darkness, all you have to do is turn on the light. In this case, you have to go ahead and override it or counteract it with positive thoughts. That is why the Ulosophy system, whenever you're struggling, and whenever a member or anybody who follows Ulosophy is struggling, or feel they're under a curse, or have just been having a very bad time, or having a hard time, no matter what it is, the one thing we tell you to do is to listen to positive information, listen to Ulosophy audios, look at the Ulosophy videos 24/7. As soon as you wake up, and while you're working, while you're driving, while you're cooking, while you're showering, all throughout the day, non-stop, 24/7. Go to sleep with the information. Don't stop until the situation changes, and you will see that it shockingly does change. We have dozens of testimonials that tells us just that. Anytime they're having a really hard time, something bad has really occurred, they listen, and suddenly the situation changes. And that's the answer: getting plugged into the system, listening to positive audios, watching positive videos, reading positive information, right? Practicing and receiving and giving recognition. Giving recognition, giving something so beautiful like that changes your energy, changes your way of belief, your way of accepting positive feelings. And also be part of a group, a gathering. Be part of a gathering. Health-wise, make sure you take in whole food nutrients, whole food minerals. Make sure your minerals supplemented. That helps a lot out as well. Being healthy. We don't recommend anything. We just tell you our opinion. Our opinion is that your financial situation must be stable as well, and the best way we have found, in our opinion, is hex.com or the Richard Hart projects, because they have something for you to look forward to. You go ahead and invest into that crypto, and maybe you can stake it, which means you lock it up, and then you'll actually get interest out of it, and you'll get more money. People have already made millions, and it has gone 10,000x in 2 years, while the S&P 500 has only gone 2x in 15 years. 10,000x Hex did in 2 years. So just imagine the potential in the future that's coming with the other projects he has coming, like Pulse X and Pulse Chain, which is basically just a copy of Ethereum, and you're going to get free copies of all your coins you have on Ethereum on the Pulse Chain network. So our thing is, if for the money situation, we advise you to get into crypto, because crypto broke all the business things, all the business You know, we recommend hex.com because um, it basically crypto broke everything, broke all the, we don't have to do startups anymore. We don't have to build businesses anymore. All we have to do is go ahead and invest into crypto and hold it, and you'll make more money than you can ever imagine. Because if you do startup or you do anything else, it will require hours, and you only have so many hours in a day, and you will only have so many hours in your life. So I don't care if you're the highest paying person, if you're still working by the hour or in that form, you're going to run out of hours. Crypto broke all that. We don't have to build businesses anymore. All we have to do is invest into crypto. So in Ulosophy, we believe that the smartest and most logical form of making money is to go ahead and invest into crypto. It's not financial advice, it's just our opinion. You should never expect anything from the work of others. Anything from the work of others. And that's one of our models. You don't expect anything from what we say or do. Like, you do not expect a thing from anything we say or do. Um, but we suggest that. But I also, go ahead and tell you about this young, beautiful lady called Ashley J. Which basically she has several courses that can teach you on how to go ahead and make money, quick money, instead of having a 9 to 5 or maybe having a side hustle apart from your 9 to 5. Or if you want to quit your 9 to 5 while you're waiting for the crypto thing to hit, then you can go ahead and take advantage of her courses. She offers a great course on flipping pallets, for example. That's one of my favorites. She can show you how to start your own beauty line. She can go ahead and teach you about SEO. She can go ahead and teach you about affiliate marketing. She can teach you about sales. She can teach you about liquidation, marketing, which warehouse marketing, which basically means that you can go ahead and if you have a space, you can, she teaches you how to go ahead and fill that warehouse with things and then sell them, and so forth, and a lot of great things. So that's something that can go ahead and get you money fast and quick and make you survive and actually give you a pretty decent life while you wait for crypto to hit, so you can go ahead and become whatever you want to become as far as your financial goals. So the Ulosophy system is pretty, and the link is in the bio. So go ahead and click the link in the bio. Make sure it is the link in the bio so she knows that you heard it from us. So she has several um, courses, and they're very cheap. They're like $20, guys. That's I've been following her for a while. I think like 2 years, year and a half. And I've come to the point that I've seen that this thing works. So that is why that's the only thing I recommend. Other than that, before I would tell you go and work your job. You've never heard me like suggest or promote some sort of course or something, other than the Richer Heart projects or Ulosophy. All I've ever said is work your job, save your money, invest in crypto. Now, this is the only course I recommend. The only course I recommend. I don't recommend no other course. You can do whatever you want, but if you want my opinion, that is the course I recommend. Is for you to go ahead and not only make good money, but make it fast and pay your bills. Because the only thing that is holding you is between you and the success of crypto is time. So you have to wait. But you're getting paid while you wait. So, that's the beautiful thing about hex.com. You have to understand that the Ulosophy system is such a beautiful system put in place that it's only going to get better and better and better. I'm gonna come out with the full-blown mindset part of the Ulosophy system, because we have the spiritual side, which is a two-part series. We have the non-condemnation and then the restfulness side. So you need these two things to basically feel good at all times, because that's the key. That's the number one key, is to feel good at all times. And these two things will allow you to do that. And then we have the health side, where we ask you that you have to supplement yourself with whole food minerals, because our foods are mineral depleted, and the main ones are GTF Chromium, Selenium, Silica, Magnesium, Zinc, CBD, other things, and we have that health-wise, right? Then we have the money side, the money part, because we live in a material world. We need money to survive, but we want to live abundantly, as the Bible tells us we should. The Bible tells us we shall inherit this entire universe. So we found it through the Richard Hart projects, which is hex.com, Pulse Chain, Pulse X, and other future projects that he may have coming. So, but we also need money to invest into that. So before that, it would just be like, get yourself a job, make sure you go ahead and, if you want to get another job, so you can go ahead and invest as much as you can right now into Hex. Of course, it's not financial advice, it's just our opinion. But now I don't even recommend that. I recommend, better than a job, is get Ashley J's courses and learn her ways of business, for you to grow a following, for you to grow a great clientele, for you to go ahead. Everybody, apart from what she teaches you how to get a clientele. I think she went from like 100 followers to like thousands of followers, and I don't know how many, a small amount of time. You need customers. So there may be something that you really love to do, which we all do. Sell that. She teaches you exactly how to do that, and how to build it, and how to promote it, and how to properly market it. I'm telling you, I've been following her for a while. This stuff works. So I don't even recommend a job. I recommend you buy her course and do what she tells you. You might have to have a job to go ahead and invest at the beginning, but other than that, once you get your few pallets, man, you're already set on your way. I mean, very easily. So you don't even have to work anymore. You could just do that. And then once crypto hit, you keep investing, you're going to be living a great, awesome life, and there will always be things going on in crypto. So there will always be opportunities. So opportunities in crypto will never end. But right now, they're on, baby. So the Ulosophy system, there's nothing out there like it, but I will do the full-blown training on the Ulosophy mindset, because right now, what I have up, if you go to the Ulosophy YouTube, is where I actually have it. I think it's about 150 concepts so far that I have explained. There's like 600 concepts if I do the full-blown training. Maybe more, actually. I think it is more. I think it's like 800, maybe to 1,000 concepts. And maybe I'll add some of Richard Hart's concepts, like from Sci-Vive, which is another great book that it's a recommended reading if you're a member of the Ulosophy membership club. And of course, if you want to become a member of Ulosophy, which is a much more in-depth gathering sort of session, and we teach you things there that are fully mind-blown. For example, there's an audio that you receive. There's a specific audio that you receive that is so mind-blowing. I can't even believe, like, this is so secretly. But that audio, just by listening to it, magical things happen. And you don't have to do a thing. And you just see it happen. It's so powerful that people, after listening to it, boom, they get, they're like, oh, okay, I need to do this, this, and this, and this, and they become super successful. Or, you know, some people get huge amount of hunger, but their metabolism is working so good that they don't gain weight. Some sleep for like 3 days straight. They get the best sleep in their life. It's an energetical, a spiritual energetical audio that will give you. That is mind blowing. And when you listen to it, you're like, whoa, like, whoa, whoa. Imagine anytime you come across, if you, there's things that have been bothering you for life, maybe trauma, I don't know, things like that, certain negative beliefs. Imagine if you can just take them away. That's what you get as part of a Ulosophy member. This is another, we're on another level, I'm telling you. And that's apart from the teaching. We have the full-blown teaching, by the way. On the Ulosophy YouTube, you have about 150 concepts. Well, we have probably close to 1,000 concepts. And we have a certain system that we use that allows it to, for it to become part of our DNA much faster. Of course, we got to work on it, but it becomes part of our DNA much faster. And the lives that we live, oh boy, you know. But we give you the information for free, so take it. And of course, all the other things that I talk about, the spiritual side, we go into in much more in depth. The money side, the health side, the gathering side. We're a family, we're a group. So if you want to join Ulosophy, DM me on my Twitter, Instagram, or TikTok, or you can email me at ulosophy1@gmail.com. You can always do that as well. But yeah, guys, I mean, what a time to be alive. There's so many great things that, you know, are coming, will be coming, and I want you to be part of it. So, you know, we're going to go ahead and release the full-blown teaching. I have to go ahead and just sit down and do it. And of course, I want to do it the video version, because that's probably the best way. Do the video version, and and when you become a Ulosophy member, you get an audio version of it. So you get the full-blown track, the full-blown lessons, 1,000 concept lessons, you know. And it's yours. They're yours. You don't have to go on YouTube to listen to them. And you're just given the audio version, so you can listen to it at any time you want. You get that amazing, powerful audio that I talked about. You know, and it's sort of a ritualistic. It's like becoming, you know, in the mafia movies, how you see where they become a maid member, that they prick themselves and they burned up picture of a saint. It's not like that. It's not like we do an actual ritual, but we do a certain sort of ritual, because it's a brotherhood, and there's like no going back. That's how it is. Just like any other fraternity, you know. Some, they have rituals as well. Some, I think, Skull and Bones in The Good Shepherd, the movie The Good Shepherd, they show the ritual that they do for, you know, when you enter Skull and Bones, what the things that you do. We don't go all that way, but we do a certain ritual, you know, and there's a reason for it. But I can't tell you, because you're not part of the club. This is only for members, but there's specific reasons why we do things. So it's a brotherhood, and we're brothers for life, you know. So hopefully one day you can decide to join, and we will be happy to have you. You will have your own mentor, you know, your own quote uncle that will guide you not only through this process but for life. But not only, you that'll be your mentor, but overall we have a big family. We're building a family of trust, a family of that you can have an issue at 3 in the morning. A Ulosophy member will pick up your call. It's like that's the bat line. That's how close we are. So I love you guys. Thank you for watching this great podcast or listening to the podcast. If you're listening on Spotify, if you're listening on Apple, if you're listening on Google, if you're listening on Amazon, wherever you're listening to. All right. So again, we're going to go and end it with much peace and love. And also, member from our sponsor. Remember Ashley J. Go to the link in the bio. It's in underneath the YouTube description. It's on our TikTok, it's on our Instagram, it's on our Twitter. Go there, buy one of her courses, get it from that link so she knows that you got it from us. That's the only course I recommend. Whether you still want to keep your job and you just want a side hustle, or you want to quit your job completely and just work on this, which is so easy and is so effective, do it. I'm telling you, do it, guys. So love you guys. All right. Again, the podcasts are Mondays and Wednesdays. Sometimes we do Fridays. So if you get a podcast Friday, then it's a surprise podcast Friday. But it's usually just Monday and Wednesdays. But I will start to go ahead and work on the actual full-blown training of the mindset and share it to you guys. And I think that will be coming out every single Friday. I'm not gonna promise it to you, but it's gonna come out. I might work on it and do 300 concepts in 3 days. I don't know. It just depends on the time and the ability of it doing it. So I love you guys. Here's another word from our sponsors, which the only one we have right now is Ashley J. So if you want to go, please go ahead and buy her course and buy it from that link so she knows you heard it from us. I love you guys. Join the Ulosophy Club, I'm telling you. And stay plugged into the system, okay?